Good morning. Would like to call the Executive Committee meeting for September 26th to order. If we can get a roll call, please.
Mr. Hess? Present. Ms. Polk? Ms. Weber? Present. Ms. Parker? Present. Mr. Fairfield? Present. Mr. Seroy? Mr. Carrico? Present. Mr. Featherling? Present. Mr. Long? Present. Mr. Eckhoff? Present. Mr. Hunter? Present. Ms. Foster? Present. Mr. Wheeler? Present. Mr. Alexander Hildebrand? We have a quorum.
Thank you. Any public comment? Don't have any slips up here. Okay, moving on. Approval of minutes August 22nd, 2023. Do we have a motion there? Mr. Eckhoff, second. Ms. Parker. Ms. Parker. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Legislative, nothing new, just dealing with the effects of recent legislation, I would say, and that's probably better for the sheriff and the state's attorney to comment on rather than here, or at least by myself. If you guys have comments on any of legislation, please feel free. I feel like I'm screaming in the woods that nobody's listening south of Route 80, north of Route 80. Information Services, Mr. Duval, do you have anything today? Oh, he's coming up here. Oh, he's got something.
I know a lot of you are on the Finance Committee, and tomorrow we're gonna finally bring the RFP for the phone system online. Not online, actually to present it to start the clock. I wanted to give anybody here a chance if you have any questions about it, because it's going to actually be presented tomorrow, and then the due date will be the finance after that. Since this is the one I normally report to, I'm going to see if anybody has any questions. I know we've kind of discussed it several times. It's gone from the point now that not only do we need to do it just to upgrade our infrastructure, but as I've had several meetings with the finance department with Steve, we have to now get out of the legacy stuff. AT&T has started charging dramatically more for the legacy lines. Not a little bit, 10, 15-fold increase, so tens of thousands of dollars. Now, we're not getting hit with that now, but we would get hit that, and ultimately it would be for no reason. They just want you to get off of their old stuff. So now it's not just kind of be nice if we need to. No, we need to. I mean, you're getting to the point where if you paid these annual fees, it'd be the equivalent of 3 patrolmen or something like that. It's that large of the fee.
It's not a lot. Yeah.
It's a dramatic thing. So now we're moving forward that it's necessary. I don't anticipate there being a problem. It'll be awarded to whoever puts in the best project. It'll probably, in my estimation, be a local vendor or at least somebody that we've dealt with, but it's an RFP. You got to go with whoever best presents their project. Again, I think I've told you the sheriff department's already on our type of system, 911 already on our type of system. It'll be new to us. It's not new in the industry. It's where the industry it is. It's just we now have enough money to do that through ARPA and the funding savings that this administration has done. It's allow us to do something that we've wanted to do previously, and it's just time. But if anybody has any questions, I just wanted to.
I do have a quick one. I know we intended, so one of the issues we have between buildings is we have to dial full numbers. Are we going to get to the point where there are extension numbers in other buildings? I was just curious if that ever presented itself.
There's 2 things that'll address that. This building, that building, the courthouse and the annex. Yes, you would be doing. Not necessarily the sheriff's, but that limitation kind of goes away when you go to an IP-based system. Because you actually now have a phone book on your phone. So you not only will you have all your numbers, it'll give you you actually have a screen on your phone. So you can do a search per name, and if you put the contact, it'll come up there. So you can, and the phones that I'm suggesting will have like 8 to 16 buttons that you can pre-program anybody in there. Just hit a button to all the people you want to.
And transfer as well. Yeah.
transfers. It's just everything's done a little bit different than how you're used to now. So things that are a problem now won't necessarily be about, they'll just be addressed a different way.
We just have an issue where someone will call the main number, they'll get into the circuit clerk's office or the county clerk's office, and then they realize they needed the circuit clerks, and they got to back out, dial a whole nother number over there. What we'd like to do, and that's why we talked before, was just send it over there to do it, but you couldn't before with the legacy type of equipment we had.
Yes, that'll work. But what we're doing, to address your question specifically, I don't know if you guys care, but it is important what he asked. Is what we're doing this time is migrating our existing system, so we make sure we cleanly get from where we are now to the new system without any disruption if possible. But the new system will allow us to easily go in and reprogram to do whatever you want to, whereas the old system didn't allow for that. So our main concern will be, let's not disrupt courts or anything like that. Let's keep all the existing numbers here, move them over, and then we'll go in and decide over the next year or whatever you want to. Do you want this layout? Because there will be ways to save money that you may say, I've got these 100 lines that don't need to have these direct into them. Well, you're paying $100 a month per line. You may say you don't want to pay those.
That's phase 2.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Any questions? All right.
Okay.
I guess that's good. Release the geeks, right? Yeah. No, it's true. It's a cost that we really didn't realize we were bearing, because it was just buried in a phone bill. And when we started really digging into it, and then when AT&T was announcing, they're basically going to price you into a change, and that, we're not talking a little bit of money. It's a couple $100,000. Steve's got the number, and we'll get that for when we open the bids. Health Department, Mr. Beavis.
Good morning.
Morning.
You have my report hopefully in there, so I'm not going to necessarily go through it specifically. I do know that at last month's meeting, Chairman Wheeler had asked possibly for an update on the IRIS, which I provided at the bottom. So I didn't know if you wanted me to read through that or just based upon having prepared it for you.
I would just give them any updates and maybe any timelines.
Okay.
Just a basic,
Which
cliff notes of here,
Sure.
and we're going to get here.
So starting in August, the health department began meeting with the group from Kansas, and we've had 4 meetings, and we have another one scheduled today at 2 o'clock. And then I think another one scheduled for tomorrow, which is designed to get a little more specific for the employees that are going to be working within that program in the weeds, so to speak, more than I would. For example, and so they're going to be getting a little more in-depth training on going into the components and bells and whistles that the IRIS has. But so we did start meeting in August, as I said. We've had meetings on the 2nd, 8th, 22nd, and the 12th. Another one scheduled for today. Many of those meetings at the beginning were basically an introduction of determining the team for the health department, the individuals, their roles and responsibilities, how the Kansas team rolls this training out to, each organization or county or community that it's beginning to train. There was sort of some homework on our end, so to speak. We were given 2 IRIS training sites, so it's not a live site, so to speak, like our community will eventually have when we launch, but it's a pretend Kankakee site, for example. And it allows us, including myself, I've gone in and done a few of them. It gives us the experience on, hey, here's an email, and it's somebody who needs a referral, and make that referral either accept a referral to the health department, or the health department making a referral to a mental health agency, so to speak. So all of the staff that we have involved have been doing that. We have hired and have designated an individual that will be the component, the main component, and then we have other individuals, including myself, that will be designated in small portions. So there's like a lead IRIS individual that would be going out and doing the training once this is launched. We have individuals that will be trained to be able to do that when that person's on vacation or sick or not able to go out. or as we anticipate early on in the beginning of this, we will have a number of individuals that are wanting to get signed on. And so we're going to have to be going off the list and getting those individuals inputted into IRIS, because they won't be part of the original launch, but they're going to see it and say, okay, yeah, I am interested. I do want to do that. And Kaylee Zito is the individual that we've hired specifically. So that'll be her main function. And then we have another few individuals that will be able to go into the system and deal with the data components that ultimately you're asking me or us to then bring back here, or that we could provide to other community organizations. These are the results, you know, without breaking any HIPAA rules or anything like that. The data is basically designed to show ultimately all of the referrals that are being made within the community by all agencies. We'll be able to see that. You as individual companies won't be able to see that. You'll be able to see your referrals between who you're referring to, but you won't be able to see everything, but we will. And then those statistics will be what we'll be able to share with, you know, this meeting or a county board meeting, or, you know, a Chamber of Commerce meeting or something like that within the community, that will help then demonstrate, as you know, with Chairman Wheeler and his vision and our agreement with that, is that ultimately we can begin to see where our gaps, weaknesses, and strengths within our community. Where can we start maybe putting money or trying to find money or grants to do that. The timeline, Chairman Wheeler referenced that. Based upon what they've done is, so August and September, they kind of have this broken down into a 4-month process. August is laying the groundwork. As I said, that was a lot of the introductions, determining team players, team roles, responsibilities. We came up with a timeline. So ultimately, we were looking at trying to finalize this around December, late December, but however, realize now we're looking at Christmas and New Year's and breaks and vacations. So not being able to predict the future and wanting to make sure that we pace ourselves to do a great job and not just get the job done. We're looking at a potential launch in January, February at the latest, just based on that. Now, if all goes well, it can be sooner. If it doesn't, you know, if something happens, you know, Murphy's Law, which is how I just always prepare, then it might take just a little bit longer. But we are looking at these first 2 months are extensive for getting the staff trained into the system so that they understand it, know how to do it, and then can be able to, one of the components that we're starting to do in today's meeting, for example, is we're going to be having, let's say Chairman Wheeler sort of knows how to do it. Now he's going to, you know, come over to me in my office and pitch it to me and try to convince me to join IRIS, and then I'm going to be able to see, you know, is he doing a good job explaining it or not yet, or are there some things that he missed, and then we can go back and forth and say, you missed this, or you didn't do that, or hey, you did a great job at that type of thing. So those are the types of things that we're doing right now. So anticipating, like I said, looking at January. And then in relation to that, obviously, as we get closer, we've had conversations in regards to then planning a function within the community to, you know, introduce it, but maybe not necessarily roll it out and say, here it is, and then get the interest of people that could potentially say, yeah, I want to sign on early on, and then we've got that list going. Similar to the vaccine, when we were getting the vaccine, but we didn't have it yet, and we were all asking you to sign up on the list. If you get on the list early, you're going to get into IRIS early. If you don't, we'll get to you when you can. We also may prioritize certain agencies over another agency that might be ahead of the list, because if it's, you know, Joe's Tire, for example, we might not necessarily want them to be getting an appointment yet if we're trying to get, you know, Helen Wheeler on there first, something like that. So we will be looking at that type of, because it's more service agency oriented, obviously, but there are potential benefits for everybody to have this, to at least be making the referrals, maybe not receiving the referrals. And then I do know that at your suggestion, this was a number of months ago, I did meet with, I've had a couple of meetings within the community to explain IRIS and give the video that they provided, but I did meet with the Frank Pacunas and the school administrators. They were very positive and interested in that, so that went well, and they were asking for some follow-ups on that. So as we go forward, I'm going to be continuing to do that. I did a Next month, the Chamber is hosting, their little annual State of the County address, and one of the new things that they've changed to since COVID was instead of everybody getting up and talking at the event per se, they have some speakers and then the rest are videos. And so I've done a video. I swear I included a bit about the iris, and they sent me the video yesterday, and sure enough, they edited that out. And so I'm communicating with them to see if that can somehow be picked up off the floor and put back in. But if not, then obviously I can work with Kelsey at the Chamber, possibly come up with a new way to get that communication back out to them, because that is a big list of individuals and companies that I think would benefit from knowing about IRIS. So that's kind of where we're at so far.
Well, if it doesn't make it in the video, give it to me and I'll do it in person.
Okay.
I'm serious.
Okay.
Because a lot of those people will be in the room.
I know.
Yeah, there couldn't be a better place to do it. So, any questions? The importance of IRIS can't be really understated. We know that that's our blind spot, our gap, is when we hand people off from one agency to another. If they don't show up, you would never know until you see them again presenting for whatever issue that they were there to see you about. In that aspect, I think that Cook County is really the only state that has a lot of these services they provide, if you will. We don't, but best we can do is to hook people up with what is there and try to chase grant money to assist in that effort. So, do you see any other highlights here? I mean, it seems like no. Iroquois. You want to talk about Iroquois? I've been asked if we could let Iroquois County providers into the system, because basically it has to do with a question of regional schools and things like that. Knowing that we can set permissions, and let's just say the same organization exists in both counties, I would not like to see the people from Iroquois County coming up and accessing the revenues or the dollars that were intended for Kankakee County residents. But I'm assured that there's ways that we can set it. When somebody looks for a referral, it will refer to what's in their backyard. And then if there's nothing there, they can come here. And I will say that's in our best interest, especially for job placement and things like that, where we may have a need to fill a bunch of jobs. It would be good to have this tool in another area, letting people know that those things exist in our area. I think it's a regional approach, and I would recommend it, but again, executive committee makes those kind of decisions.
That was, make sense? Yes, it does. That was one of the questions that came up in the administrators meeting, because some of the schools that are represented by Kankakee, Iroquois County Regional Office of Education, and then the health department has 3 grants that encompasses more than just Kankakee County in relation to the work that's served there, potentially, and looking in the future for possible referrals to or from that. So that is something that we will include in the discussions with the IRIS people on how maybe that works from community to community, understanding the sensitivity of, this was Kankakee's ARPA money versus Will County's, IRIS program and their services. I will add this, though, we have started some communication regarding Amy LaFine, who works at the Kankakee County Health Department, has been reached out for from another agency, I believe, in Iroquois County. And I don't have all the details, so I'm just kind of vaguities here, so I apologize for that. But the gist is, there are some individuals or an agency that is looking into a grant possibly down there that may bring money that includes IRIS funds for Iroquois County that ultimately then they could have their own. Oh. So we're trying to encourage that, and we'll just have to wait and see where that goes, because I think is each community obviously that sees this can make its determination whether it's ready or not. I definitely believe that it's ready in Kankakee County. Chairman Wheeler definitely saw that when he proposed this originally way back last year. And I know that everyone I've talked to, including my staff, there's been nothing but excitement for this. I've not heard any negatives about it at all. And the fact that when you can promote this to you as an agency that it's free, how can you argue against that? Now, there is cost on the backside, obviously, and if grants can help support that, that's definitely the way we're going to look. So obviously ARPA is helping fund it at the beginning. We're going to be looking for grant money to help support it, to sustain it. We do know that there's grant money out there that sustains other communities. And as I said, there's grants that Iroquois County possibly are beginning to look at for them to begin this process. So it's a win-win. I don't see any loss in this.
And just for perspective, this product is in the low tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands. Okay, so it's not a big financial thing if something does go across the border. The grant money is a concern because that's finite based on populations and demographics, and we have an obligation to serve our people in our county. Absent of any conflicts, I think that type of thing could work as long as we work through it. Is there any thoughts from the committee that way? Anything different? You know, we can support it is what I'm saying. It's not that much money ongoing, I think, for the community to see this benefit. Mr. Hunter.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Excellent information, Chairman and John. Good stuff that you're articulating. And I know that it's a requirement of all the ARPA funding recipients, and you articulated other social service agencies, the major ones, Helen Wheeler, et cetera, and so forth. What do you anticipate? I know you don't have a magic wand or anything to anticipate how large the grouping will be in terms of recipients who will be receiving this training for IRIS. Do you have any estimation at this point in terms of what you may be dealing with? And it may catch on like wildfire once they realize that it's an asset.
That's a great question, and yes, I kind of do. When some of us from the team at the health department went up to visit Will County, they started their program with IRIS approximately 4 years ago. When they rolled it out and launched it in their community, they had approximately 20 on board. And 4 years later now, they're at approximately 120. Now, there's a difference in terms of they got a grant for, it was Birth to 5, I believe, and so they hired this individual that was going to be performing the duties for that grant for Birth to 5 and the deliverables that the state needed for Will County to cover that program. Within that grant, however, was to offset the cost of bringing the IRIS to the community. So that individual goes out into the community, and I'm not saying that's a right way or a wrong way, it's a different way. Goes out into the community and finds facilities and gets them on board, and so in 4 years they built it up to 120. I expect, without giving a specific number here, that within a few short years, if not sooner, we can blow that number, should blow that number out the door, because this is a different scenario where Chairman Wheeler, the county board, saw this, incorporated it within those service grants, has talked to the health department. We agreed that we will take the lead to do this and bring it to our community. And it's been cheerleaded, for lack of a better word. And so a lot of people know about it, know it's coming. Many people already understand what it's going to do for them and are ready for it. And so instead of me just going door to door and saying, are you interested? We're going to have people at the outset already interested and on a list to be talked to. So I would envision we're going to really hit the ground running, which is why we're trying to prepare a few extra people than just one individual in Will County for 4 years until they've now hired their second. Maybe we'll be fortunate enough to be so busy that we'll need 2 sooner, which would be great for the community then, because then that only means that we've got so many agencies making those referrals and those connections within the community.
I likened it to if you go to Can I Help, you know, the website, everybody on there. Every single agency on that website should be at least be either approached or a letter sent or something along those lines, because that is a marketing tool for all of those agencies. Well, this is, I want to say, the referral tool is marketing in and of itself. Those are the people that need to get the referrals and hand them out. You know, there's a lot of people that go to one place where they should be somewhere else too, or there's associated things that they need to just beyond what they're in front of that one place for. So I'm excited. You tell us what you need, you know, type thing.
The beauty, I think, of the health department being involved with this is that we aren't interested. We don't compete against, you know, there's no other health department in the county that we're fighting against. We just want to serve everybody or make sure that they get the services that they need if we don't provide them. This is that tool that's going to do that. You, on the other hand, on the other side of the fence, as an agency that might be involved in social services, you know, each person you get in the door is going to help you turn into insurance or whatever and help fund and increase your capacity there. And that would be the benefit for you then. And so all I care about is that I've sent somebody out to you and I can see that they've been helped. And however that's helped you grow your business, then hallelujah for you. But that family or that individual has been helped. And at the end of the day, I know that that's the vision Chairman Wheeler saw. That's the vision that we see.
I was just to follow up on your both of your comments. I'm just kind of concerned as to why you were edited out from the chamber, because that's a macro group, and I would assume, based on the comments that Chairman Wheeler mentioned, that you guys will revisit them and see what we can do, and because that's important.
It's not. And I'm working on that. I'm communicating with them. They, in defense of them, they've got, I don't know how many videos they're trying to do, and they're trying to limit it to 2 to 3 minutes. And I had to go in there, and so I made a small speech of the 10 core functions of the health department. And within one of those core functions, I used that to describe IRIS. And when they got to that one, it just kind of, they started it, ended it, and then went to the conclusion. And unfortunately, that didn't accomplish what I was intending. Now, I didn't make myself clear to them, so I'm trying to communicate that. If we can fix it, we can fix it. But it's not, they had a lot to try for this lunch. You know, the individuals that are gonna be going are gonna be there for an hour. They're gonna see 20 videos. And so, you know, each of those had to be just so long. And had I known that in hindsight, I would have just gone in and talked about the IRIS program, but the original question was, you know, what are some things within the health department? So that's the approach I took, including IRIS. And unfortunately for me then, without conveying that message clearly enough, that's what got edited first. Now, there's still time to fix it, which I'm trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once they see Mr. Breach's front page article, then, you know, they might feel compelled. No, I'm just kidding. So, any other questions? These are good things. All right. Thank you so much.
All right.
John.
Thank you very much.
Moving on. I'll try to pick up the pace. Frank Petkunas is not here today from schools. There, see?
Good job.
Promises made, promises kept. VAC, Karen Smatansky, she's on Zoom.
Good morning, everybody. You have my report. I really don't have anything besides my report other than I want to make sure not on there is we have a graduation on October 12th for Veterans Treatment Court. It's at 2:30 at the courthouse. Usually we're in the room 300. And then I want to emphasize that on November 9th, that is the week of Veterans Day, we do have a 10-year anniversary of our Veterans Treatment Court, and that too will be at 2:30. We're trying to get as many people there as we can, including past people that have been involved, either running it or as graduates. So those are the two main things. Other than that, I'm here for questions, and I'm done.
Any questions?
How's your budget?
Good, thank
Mr.
you.
Hunter, go ahead. Sorry.
How's your budget compliance?
Good, thank you.
Okay.
Good.
Mr. Hess, did you have a question?
Yeah, I actually have a couple. Karen, in the report, it says that the bus had 12 riders and the van had 20 riders and 25 appointments. Could you explain what the bus is used for and where they go?
Sure, our bus and our van only go to Heinz on a regular basis. So depending on how many riders we have, we take the van compared to the bus. The van gets great gas mileage compared to the bus. The bus goes at least, give or take, once a week, once every other week, whether we have riders or not, just to keep it going. So our limit is, I think, 4 passengers in our van, and then they take the bus if it's over 4.
What would the people do if we didn't have the bus and the van?
Well, the VA also has a van or a bus, but they go different hours than we do, so it gives us a special opportunity to offer more rides. They go up every day from the Heinz Clinic here. We leave from the train depot, so I'm not sure. I mean, I can't answer that question because I don't know, but it's a specialty thing that we offer. The bus we got through the Rural Transportation Grant through IDOT. So, yep.
Ms. Parker, sorry.
Chairman. Karen, how much does this cost VAC for each of the vans?
The gas
Everything.
every month?
Everything.
Insurance, I think with both of them now is about $7,000 to $8,000 a year, and the gas now is averaging about $400 to $500 a month for both.
Okay.
And then we pay our drivers a per diem, so every day they go up, they get paid. They don't get paid if they don't go up, or if there's no riders.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Alrighty, moving on. We have, we have a gentleman that's here, so if it's okay with Anita, and we'll switch this around and do the appointments real quick. Motion to amend the agenda. Second, Mr. Featherling, Colton, and then Featherling. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Now, is there a motion to combine and approve all of these appointments and reappointments except for the last one for Yellowhead and Washington Union number 2? Those are all single applicants or reappointments. Is there a motion on that group? Mr. Long, Mr. Hunter, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now moving on to the appointment or reappointment to the Yellowhead Washington Union Drainage District number 2. We had 2 applicants, so our policy is to invite both here to ask questions, and that's per the county code. As we researched and found out, and we do things that way. We have Mr. Thiessen, who is here, I believe, in the back, and Mr. Warren was the other applicant. Mr. Warren here. Okay, so one of the applicants was here. And that applicant is for reappointment. Is there a motion since the other applicant isn't here? Mr. Featherling?
I'd like to see if I can get a motion to have the other applicant wait in the hallway, out in the hallway.
Who's not here?
Oh, I thought you said both of them were here.
No.
Okay.
I said the other one isn't here.
Good.
Is there a motion on this one, Mr. Eckhoff?
Motion to reappoint Mr. Thiessen.
Mr. Thiessen?
Yes.
Is there a second on that? Ms. Parker? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Alrighty, that was it. Now we'll go back to the county administrator report. Anita Speckman.
Good morning. Okay. Big uptick in job postings this month. Last month we had 10 postings, 6 different positions, but probation had 4 probation officers. This month we have 11 positions, but 17 openings. So the biggest bulk, I do want to say probation is up to 5 probation officers that they are currently looking for, that they have openings. But what we added this month is largely public health department related. So those are, they have 8 positions. I think there was one, yeah, they do have one, a case manager position that was posted in May, but the balance, 2 social workers, 2 health promotion coordinators, a case manager, a public health nurse, and a client services representatives. Those were all posted at the end of August, so they're relatively new postings. So other than that, we have, like I said, the probation officers, which have been out there for some time, state's attorney, that has been posted for some time for an assistant state's attorney, an assistant public defender part-time, and 1 full-time position, so 2 positions still open in the public defender's office. And new this month is the WIA staff accountant position in finance. So that was recently filled in the spring, maybe April, May. That did not work out, so that position is back out there. That has historically been a difficult position for us to fill, and you know, just industry-wide, accounting is a very, very tough position to fill. It just, they are very what do I want to say, new graduates are decreasing. So it's not a field that has the interest it once did. So it is a challenge to fill those positions industry-wide, not just here. So new hire orientation was held September 20th. We had 11 attendees. 6 were not county direct positions. So there were 3 from the Regional Office of Education, which tends to happen every fall as they hire new positions there, 2 for CANCOM and 1 for Public Health. So we had 13 new positions in August, 11 in September. So what you see is we're continuing to hire and kind of fill our turnover positions to the core county, but we obviously had a bunch of new ones this month. Other than that, work continues on both group health and property liability work comp renewals. That's the property liability that's been pretty quiet in terms of they have all the information. There is a ton of information that gets sent to them that they decipher and then get us a bid. We're waiting for that. The group health is very difficult this year. We did receive some numbers from Blue Cross. We've got other numbers from another provider. We send that out every year to about 5 providers. 3 chose not to submit a bid. It continues, the rates are difficult, and trying to find coverage and retain Blue Cross Blue Shield is a challenge within our budget constraints. So for the bulk of county employees, by far have about the employees share is 25%. It is that county portion that becomes difficult to meet the constraints of our budget. So that is what we're working on now and trying to negotiate retention of Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is very well received by our employees. Last month, I can't remember if it was here or I think finance, Equitable Partners came as and presented an alternative to our nationwide 457B plan, which is an alternative or additional investment tool that's provided to our employees. We have 31 participants at the county, and those representatives from Equitable are meeting with those 30. At this point, I only have feedback from 5 employees. So they're continuing to meet with those. So we don't want to present that right now because we don't have enough feedback, and there are some questions in terms of the fees as well. So for all 3 of these, the 2 insurances, the group health suite, the property liability work comp, and the equitable, what I would like to do is have a special finance committee meeting prior to the October 10th board meeting so that we can get those presented, approved. And largely that has to do with giving Kelly and I enough time in the group health side to prepare all the materials that need to be provided for open enrollment. Open enrollment is the first 2 weeks of December. So we have both video, we have written materials, documentation from each of them that have to be updated on our website. The software, the enrollment tool has to all be updated. So there's a tremendous amount of work that has to be done in order to get that ready. And if we wait till the end of October to the finance committee in October, then it's the second week of November when the full board is making the approval, and that's just not enough time for us to get the materials ready. So I'd like to do that in the October board meeting. So we're working on getting that ready.
And the fallback is a special full board meeting, seems to me. If we don't get the things that we need from the different carriers, like we do have a number back from United Healthcare, and so that is it's a negotiation point,
right?
So that's
right.
The 75%, 25% conversation happens for board members. I mean, it's not that it's an increase for our employees,
yes,
but exponential for the taxpayers. So we have to make sure that we're managing that. And there's something to be said for not having to spend half your day on the phone fighting claims. There's something to be said for that as well. So
yes, we get very good feedback from our employees, and what we hear from employees is, well, I'm willing to pay a little bit more. Well, a little bit on the employee side turns into a lot on the county side. So trying to work that into our budget is a challenge.
So timing and increases are conspiring against our timetables. So
yes,
that's probably the best way to put it. So please remain flexible and understanding during this next month of
chaos.
Really chaos. Because otherwise December will be chaos. It probably will be anyway.
Right. I think one year we waited till November, and that was just awful.
One thing I did that I should tack on here is that there was something that Springfield did for public defenders that we're trying to work our way through. I think we're getting $115,000 from the state for Safety Act implications within the public defender's office. So we're working through that language and figuring out what that means. I have, once Chief Judge and I and Ed have a chance to sit down, we'll come back here with more on that, hopefully for the next criminal justice, because we'll have to obviously include that in a budget at some point, wouldn't you think? But because again, the 115 probably, it never covers benefits, does it? I mean, we don't even know. Typically. So are we gonna have to pick up the pension and the benefits just to take advantage of the 115 for a position that's really hard to fill as it is right now?
Correct.
Go try to find a lawyer. It's trying to find anybody.
Right.
It's just debilitating. So at least somebody who's employable. I'll say it like that. There's some people out there. You can find people. Yeah, employable people. Okay. Anything else for the group? Any questions for Anita, actually?
Okay.
Tinker? Ms. Weber? Do you guys have any questions? Okay. Well, we're here. All right.
Yeah, I'm always in my office, and I'm available after the meeting too if you need me.
Alrighty, looks like openings. One opening on the following. McGilvery Special Drainage, Cabry Area Fire Protection District. One opening on Animal Welfare Advisory, the veterinarian. We think we've got that one. So there would be an at-large potential opening coming up as well. Is that one of the three? Yeah, the vet you'll have covered, but that will free up another spot on AWAC. Yeah, so there will be room for another person to apply for the Animal Welfare Committee because someone else is bogged down with time and needs to move on and they've been there since the beginning. So we'll address that later when we do have an appointment. I apologize for that. BM Lewis Drainage District, one opening, Moments Yellowhead District 1, one opening on the Sheriff Mayor Commission. Moments Pembroke Union Drainage District number 1, Kankakee County Public Building Commission, and the Union Drainage District number 2. As mentioned, 3 openings on AWAC. Under new business, we have holidays to be observed by the offices of the Kankakee County for the calendar year of 2024. I believe Election Day was added. That's why this is here. I believe. Is that? Yeah, but I think we did, but I think this was they just added Election Day to it again. So motion to approve the holidays. Mr. Hunter, second. Mr. Long, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Updating teen court fund to the Maasai Justice Project. I believe that was just a terminology change as requested. So do we have no, that's what it was. Is there a motion to approve that? It's Mr. Rowe had requested the renaming and has to go through us. Thank you, Mr. Eckloff. Second, Ms. Weber. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Let me get back to my other page. Changes to section 6-3, section 3 of the Kankakee County Code. Kankakee County Code. So this is the result of me as liquor commissioner going around and around and around and around and around with the Bourbonnais Township Park District. Rather than rehash all of this, they're in the county, they fall under the county's liquor ordinance, and part of our ordinances say you cannot have a for-profit company doing temporary licenses, or otherwise you'd have for-profit companies going all over the county doing that. It's only non-for-profits can apply for that. We went around and around, and my message wasn't being heard, and I did mention to the park district multiple occasions they could get a non-for-profit to run their liquor sales for their music events. Last thing I want to do is to see those shut down, but I also can't ignore the liquor code. So I gave them solutions. They didn't choose to avail themselves of that until recently. They finally took me up on that, and the basic gist is we have a liquor code that accounts for what we do at the fairgrounds. Okay, the way the fairgrounds operate, which is pretty much like a park district if you think about it. The reason I think the park district was never included is because it didn't exist when this was entered into the liquor code. That park district was created in what, 89, 90? I'm sorry, I don't know the exact name. So my thought was, and I'd spoken with the state's attorney's office, that Class C, where it says, which shall authorize retail sales of alcoholic liquors at the county fairgrounds and parks located in the county jurisdiction. That's the added part, parks in the county jurisdiction. Before it just said fairgrounds. So I want to work with the state's attorney's office to make sure we got the right language in there, but the gist of it is make sure they have the same rules just like the county fairgrounds does. So there's no question that how to regulate this and make it much easier for everybody to operate. That's just the thought process here. I still have to sit with them and make sure they have the correct language, but it's operationally, it's really the same thing. It's the same question we're having to answer without all the games going on, frankly, because I'm tired of the games. So If anybody would like to have any questions or make a motion that I proceed with the state's attorney under this auspice to try to make these as similar as possible, so there is no questions or misinterpretations or gamesmanship, I'd be more than happy to do so. Ms. Weber.
To be clear, is this the non-for-profit or a profit, or which way are you going on this? Does it mean that they can't, the profit and non-profit can both operate in the
It
parks?
means that they can apply for their own liquor license, which is what park districts do.
And that's what you want them to do?
Well, that's what they should do.
Should do.
I mean, why would you want to have a for-profit company make the money that should be at the park district? That's their decision, okay? It's their decision how they want to operate. It just has to fit within our liquor code.
And this will now?
If we have this, then we have a situation where they can just do it themselves.
And that should please them?
I don't know at this point. I don't know what that...
You don't have to please them.
I don't know how to please them, to be honest.
Sorry.
Because any solution is not a good solution for the leadership of that park district. So...
Is it just one park district? Just one
just
park?
Yeah, it's just one. There, from what I understand, there's a little tip of the Moments Park that's in the county as well. And so I don't know what that means. We're gonna have to account for that. But it's just like a little piece of one of their parks. Yeah, it's on the island maybe, or okay. So we'll look into that to make sure that we're accounting for that, or the potential for other parks to pop up. You know, I just have to work through it with the state's attorney, but I wouldn't go down this road. I just think that we have this sitting here for the fairgrounds. It's very similar. Why not have it be the same there? So
I'll make the motion then.
okay. Second for that, Mr. Long. And the verbiage may change a little bit, accepting the state's attorney and I will work on this for the time the state's attorney's office for the full board. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Let's see here if there was anything else. Any old business? New business? Any other business? Motion to adjourn, Mr. Hess. Second? Mr. Featherling. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.